You are missing a water temp or a depth temp. I'll show you how to fix that. So I'm out here on my boat, and right now I'll show you my screen. I've got water temp is just lines. That's all that's there. So if I go to menu, go to sonar, again I've got nothing but lines on my water temp. It's not showing up at all, even though I went in and I put it on here. Number one, before I go any further, first thing you want to check is make sure that your connections, if you have a 3-in-1 or total scan transducer, you're going to be in channel 2 on the black port. So they're color coded. Power is to red, my networking cable is to yellow. This is actually going to active target. I got another network that'll go to my other graph. And then blue is for 2D sonar. So if I want to add in a 2D module, no matter what brand, I could bring it in and actually run off of 2 different sonars and get that data from 2 different sonars. But I don't. I'm just using what came with my HDS unit, my carbon here, which is the 3-in-1 active transducer that's going to go into the black port. Clear off. So I'm on any screen, doesn't matter what screen I'm on. If I go back to this, there's a couple of different ways that I can go to. If you're on the home screen, you can just click setting button right there, and then it's gonna bring up where I need you to be. If you are on like any sonar screen, this one, or let's say I got it set up where I've got 2D, my down scan, and my side scan. All you have to do is hit or mash the power button one time, and then you're going to bring up system controls, and then you can go to settings that way. So either one, you can go to home screen and you go to setting that way. But when you get to this settings menu, you got system. You're going to want to go to sonar first off. So if you go to sonar and you've got internal sonar channel 1 turned on, internal sonar channel 2 turned on, and network sonar turned on, and then multi-source turned on to where you can use any of these, that's fine to leave it like that, regardless on whether you're networking or you're not networking. But once you make sure you got these on, and they'll work on or off, like long as internal sonar channel 2 is on. Like I can turn that off and it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna scroll up, and I'm gonna go to network. From network, I'm gonna go to data sources. That brings up this screen. When you go to data sources, we've got GPS, sonar, and time. The temptation here is to go, okay, well I need sonar, so I'm gonna get my drop down menu and I'm going to touch that. And when you do that, it brings up auto configure, reset global, reset local. Meaning global, if I had my other unit over here and I wanted it to retrieve data off of it. And it's on global. But again, this really doesn't matter if you have a standalone unit, whether it's listed global or local. But you want to hit that drop down menu, but that's not what you need to do. Hit the blue bar. So I'm going to go back again. What you see, there's a difference in whether or not, and when it's on sonar, like a GPS, I just hit tap GPS. But if I go to GPS and I do that, it brings up auto configure, reset global, reset local. If I do that with the sonar and I tap that drop down, same thing. That's what it wants to bring up. But if you'll tap the bar, it's going to bring up water temp global, depth global, app global, app depth. So my water temp's not coming up. So I'm going to do a drop down menu like you think you would do. And here we go. Auto configure, reset global, reset local. Well, that's not what you want to do. We're going to tap on just the blue bar. When we do that, it'll bring up this device. Make sure that that's checked. Make sure that, in my case, this is my HDS Carbon 12. If I'm networking, meaning that I've got an Ethernet cable plugged into my HDS 7 live unit, and that I'm clicked on that, it's not going to show up a water temperature. And if that's not checked, it's not going to show up a water temperature. It's the same thing with depth. When you're on depth, I've got the options here of sonar panel selection, HDS, this device, sonar 3-in-1, transducer, this device. This is what I want right here. So I want it to show up, and not channel 1. If I check channel 1 right here, I'm not going to have depth. If I check this right here, I'm going to have depth on my 3-in-1. That's where it's going to pull the depth information from, on the 3-in-1. But I know it's a little confusing because I got these arrows over here, and you think, well, if you want the drop down menu, you touch the arrows and you drop it down. You're dropping down different information there. So that's how you do it. Once you do those check marks, and then I'm just tapping it, you don't have to, but when I X back out, now voila, I've got my water temperature, my depth is up there. So now I'm showing water temperature on my screen. That's how you do it. I hope it's short and sweet and makes sense to you, but don't hit the little arrow. Hit the drop down menu, make sure you're checked. I hope this helps you out. Thank you to the viewer that reached out to me via email and said, hey, I have issues with it and I'm not showing up depth, or I'm not showing up water temp. See if that doesn't help you out right there and make your life a little bit easier operating your Lowrance. Because of course you want to know your water temperature and you want to know your depth. If you got any value out of this information, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up for me. And also like and subscribe. Thank you very much. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.